What's good, YouTube? My name is Coach, and in today's video we're going to be building Jadzi Oracle of Arcavios. I pulled some cards over here that you'll see with some just basic ideas or just ideas in general that I wanted to build with this deck. Now, Jadzi is a 8 mana commander with a flip side that you can pay 4 mana, and it allows you to take all the cards in your hand and put them into play. So the purpose of this deck is to play this side early, Journey to the Oracle, so we can get a ton of lands into play, hopefully. And also utilize Jazzi's ability. Jadzi has an ability where it says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it by paying 1 rather than paying its mana cost. If it's a land, put it onto the battlefield. So this is, or what I'm planning on building, is a prison style commander deck that uses counter spells to control the board and to control the flow of the game. And as we cast our counter spells, we can pay 1 mana to get our big creatures into play that are either going to remove creatures or just have the opportunity to deal a lot of damage to our opponents. So, because this is a counter spell, prison style control deck, I pulled all the counter spells that I have over here. I'm just going to count how many I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 here. I'm thinking that I want 10 counter spells. And there are some counter spells in here that generally I wouldn't play, like this Fervent Denial. It's a 5 mana counter spell, but it has flashback for 7. So I get 2 uses out of this counter spell, so we're actually gonna play this. We'll play a Wizard's Retort. This costs 1 less if you control the wizard, so essentially this is just 2 blue to counter target spell. We'll play the Spell Pierce. We'll play Negate. Power Sink, I don't know. We'll play Keep Safe, Memory Drain, Disdainful Stroke. We'll play the Cancel. This is a Spell Burst. Spell Burst allows you to counter a spell with converted mana cost X, and you can buy it back for 3. If the deck plays like how it should, you should always have enough mana to pay for the buyback. Hopefully. And we'll just grab the Forceful Denial, because why not? That cascades. So now we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 counter spells. So we're just gonna leave that off to the side. Now, we need, the game plan with this deck is we have to draw cards to put lands into our hand. So instead of using a lot of cards that are going to help us just put lands into our hand or put lands into play, we have a ramp spell in the command zone. So the whole purpose of this is to not really play so many land-based cards. However, more just draw a lot of cards so that we can get lands into our hand to ramp them onto the battlefield with Journey to the Oracle. So we're gonna play the Seer Sundial over here because this can potentially just draw us a ton of cards. So do that. I'm thinking in my mind we need 12 methods of drawing cards. So this Deep Analysis over here we can use twice. So, the important reason why I keep saying that we want to use this twice, kind of like that counter spell, is because that allows us to activate Jadzi twice. We look at the top card of our library and search to see if we can find one of the powerful creatures and put into play. So we're always going to play this It's Chemist's Insight, it has Jumpstart, so definitely play this. Factor Fiction, I just really like this card, so we're gonna play that. Life Crafter's Bestiary, we're gonna play. I don't know if we want to play that. This we can use twice. This can draws 2 cards and put a land onto the battlefield. We'll just hold off on that. We'll play the Scroll Spiral because it's good. I don't know about this. Do I have a Think Twice here? No, I don't. So we'll play Think Twice. Thought Scour is going to allow us to activate Jadzi for 1 mana. Anticipate. 2 mana, activate Jadzi. This 4C, and I think I have more cards that do this, but this says scry 4, then draw 2 cards, so that we can set the top of our library, so that the next spell we cast, we know we can activate, potentially put one of the creatures in play with Jadzi. So I think I want to play that. Play the Opt. Yeah, there's another one. Scry 4, draw 2. Scry 2, draw for 1 mana. Curate, we'll keep. Let me just count how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we actually have 15. You know what? We'll keep 15. Whatever. That was 10 counter spells and 15, so we have 26 cards so far. We actually already have 36 lands right here as well. I'll put these cards off to the side. So if I do the math, 36 plus 26, we have 62 cards so far. Okay, so now that we have this, we are going to look at the creatures last. You know, these cards over here, I think I just want to play. We have a Wilderness Reclamation. This is going to allow us to untap all the lands we control at our end step. Play that. And then the Swarm Intelligence, we can pay 7 mana to copy every instant or sorcery spell we cast, which is basically just going to, every time we cast a spell, we activate Jadzi twice. So we'll keep that. This Animus Awakening says reveal the top X cards of your library, put all land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped. And we're gonna be most likely allow us to activate the spell mastery as well, because we're gonna be casting a ton of spells. So I think we keep the Awakening, and I'm definitely gonna keep this Nihilate's Intervention. This just says search your library for up to X land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. That's just a bomb inside this deck. And these other cards over here, I just don't think I really care about, honestly. I mean, we could play the Coiling Oracle just because it's a creature that we can play early, and this Green Seeker is a creature we can play early. But like, I just don't want to activate Jadzi and then be like Coiling Oracle off the top of the library, so we're just gonna not play that actually. Yeah, we will not play this Biomass Mutation. Let me look at, these are our removal spells. So we have exile target artifact or enchantment. You know, I really like this hunting pack just because it has Storm, 7 mana, creative 4/4 beast. This could activate Jadzi many times. So we will play this hunting pack. We'll play this Azurius Predation. We'll play the Pest Infestation. We have Lignify, a Calming Verse, Penrith Transformation, Broken Wings. We'll play the Fade into it. We'll just play all these cards, why not? So just removal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 pieces of removal plus 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 13 plus 62. So you have 75 cards right now, which leaves us 25 creatures potentially. I think I need more. The mana curve in this deck right now is going to be super interesting. We have a Mnemonic Deluge. I really like this card right here. This is basically 9 mana, exile instant or sorcery. You get to activate Jadzi 4 times. Seems cool. This once in a future says you can return target card from your graveyard to your hand. And then put the other on top of your library, which allows you to just activate Jadzi the next time you cast a spell, depending on the creature that was in your, or the permanent that was in your graveyard. You know, I think I'm gonna play 1, 2. I kind of see these cards as card advantage, so we're just gonna play the 5 of them. Why not? Let me take out. If I'm gonna add these 5, that leads 20 creatures. I don't think 20 creatures is enough. So I'm gonna take out 1 removal spell, which will be the I could take out the hunting pack, honestly. Although that does have storm. I'd rather just take out this retrieve. And then so that's 21 creatures. I'll take out the anticipate. That's 22 creatures. Maybe the forceful denial. 23 creatures. And then we'll just play test this and then see how that works. So now we look for the creatures. So now we're gonna look through these. Kamal can win the game. Kamal, we can just pay 5 mana and give all creatures +3/+3 and trample. So this is just a GG card potentially. So we'll definitely play that. Myojin of Life's Web, I think, is another card that could just potentially. I've seen this card end games multiple times. So we're gonna play this. Galta. I like to prioritize cards, even though this is 7 mana. This is just a removal spell on a creature. So I know I have a couple cards here that kind of act that way. Like this, Phyrexian Ingester, Scourge of Fleets, and that's about it. So we're definitely gonna play these 3 cards just because it's just more removal. This Sifter Worm over here says enters the battlefield, you scry 3, which can let us set the top of our library for Jadzi. So we'll just play this, kind of like a card advantage spell. We have Molimo, which its power and toughness are equal to the number of lands we control, which should be high because of Journey to the Oracle. So, and then we also have Multani, which literally does the same thing. So I enjoy that. So we're gonna play that. We'll play Zimone because Zimone kind of acts like a lieutenant. You can pay 1 mana to put a land from your hand onto the battlefield, and then you can pay 4 mana to draw 2 cards, potentially, based on the number of lands you have. So I just think that Zimone just acts like a really good creature inside the deck. Rashmi is kind of the same thing. Gretchen is kind of the same thing as well. These are just good lieutenants to have. I'm gonna play this Sky Turtle just because I can discard this to either return a creature to a hand, or I can discard this to return target card from a graveyard to your hand, or it's just a creature with flying and hexproof essentially. So we'll play this. And I know we had a Timeless Witness. This also lets us return a card from a graveyard to your hand. In Search of Greatness, I don't think we want to play inside here. We have this Prognostic Sphinx, which lets us scry 3 every time that it attacks. So I kind of like that. We have this archetype of endurance, which gives all of our creatures hexproof. Let me just count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 8 more cards to go. So we'll play this Myojin. This Myojin, we can remove an indestructible counter from it to copy target permanent spell we control 3 times. So yeah, seems cool. I want to play this Cragplate Baloth, but it has no trample, so it just doesn't seem like. I'd rather play Segu Mauler, which is trample hexproof, and then we have a Simic Sky Swallower over here, which is flying and trample and shroud. It's just difficult to remove creatures. So that was 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think I just. Rampaging Baloths, I think, is just a game-winning card, potentially. So let me just count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh! It's 23. Hold up. I'll play... This is 21. Where's the, 22. Where's that elf? 23. Okay. Keep it like this. Alright, so now I'm just gonna count this, and then I'll shuffle and we'll play test from there.